Over the past year, a dozen or so companies have received shareholder proposals asking the companies to explore adding a non-management employee to the board. This comes as the workforce equality movement gathers steam, as better human capital disclosure is sought by some institutional investors, by the SEC. But do non-management directors make sense? Today on Zippy Point.
Quick Zips by Zippy Point.
Quick and dirty. I'm Brock Romanek, and I'm a big fan of yous. So this recent article from the KPMG Leadership Center provides good food for thought. It notes that there have been about a dozen shareholder proposals in the last year, either directly seeking non-management representation on the board or seeking studies about the concept. There are various models for worker representation on company boards throughout Europe, including the German co-determination model. This Harvard Business Review article gets into the details of how all these different models work in Europe. Germany's system is the most well-known one. It's a dual board system. Workers in Germany sit on a supervisory board, not on the actual board of directors. So I urge you to read this article to learn more about how throughout Europe, employees are sitting on the boards of private or state-owned companies in about 20 different companies. Most of them are in Europe, Chile being the one exception. And studies show, mostly studies based on Germany's dual board framework, that employee representation on boards is neither hugely positive nor negative for financial performance. So that critical factor, whether it's a good or bad thing for a company's financial performance, is a wash. One positive from non-management representation on the board is that it can improve cooperation between management and employees. Studies show that trust between employers and employees is a part of good labor relations. That's common sense, which is a key factor for maintaining low unemployment. That during times of crisis for a company, it can find ways to negotiate and reduce labor costs rather than engage in a mass firing. But for many non-management employees sitting on the board, it doesn't quite work because they think it's important to have a chain of command, a pyramid framework for companies to be productive. They point to other ways to gain insight into how a company's culture works in practice, employee advisory committees, employee satisfaction surveys, leveraging other types of feedback channels from the employee base. Given the growing focus on workforce diversity, pay equity, climate change, and other social concerns of employees, particularly younger employees, boards and companies that ignore the importance of the value of their employees do so at their peril. Boards need to find ways to hear the voices of the company's employees in a way that is not filtered by management. I believe that this is part of a sound human capital management strategy, and I imagine you do too. So I've got two kids working in the FANG, the 5 huge tech companies, Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Alphabet, Apple, and a sister that works at one of them too. And I've spent a fair amount of time in Silicon Valley. I've held my annual Women's 100 conference in Palo Alto for 6 years. So I have a pretty good sense of what a company feels like when it has an inviting culture, meaning they're giving employees plenty of perks, a lot of creative freedom. Free food in the cafeteria does go a long way towards creating a happy team, but it does not get you all the way there. Some of those companies still face employee unrest. Gauging how well your culture is working is a never-ending process, no matter how much free food you give away. You simply cannot buy employees off. There's more to all this than just money. So this is a challenging topic. As I reflect back on my own career, I've worked for 6 different organizations as a professional. I would say none of them had it near right. None of them made much of an effort to gauge how employees felt. But that was in the old days. It's only in the past few years that human capital has been widely recognized as a valuable asset. So I'm getting a little bit off track here. So back to non-management representation on boards. I'm not a big believer of that at this time. I don't think that automatically solves any potential problems in the human capital area. I don't see it much of a value add to the board. I'm not sure it would make much of a difference. What would make a difference is creating an office, someone on the management team, senior management team, with the authority and the knowledge and the experience to slowly change a ship's course, if it needs to be changed, to be better aligned with employee desires in a way that is still productive for the company, still in line with the company's overall business strategy. So this is more than just placing the head of human resources in charge of this effort. For all you know, HR might be part of the problem at your company. This would be a separate human capital office that works hand in hand with HR. That might be difficult to pull off, turf wars and all that, but you need to start somewhere. Anyway, I certainly don't have the answers here. I'm no expert, and every situation truly is unique. Let me know what you think.